improved in a lot of different ways. I love what Monty was able to do over the course of the offseason and improve really the depth and the competitiveness of each position. And then I would say individually, the players, there was a lot of improvement I saw from guys that were here last year going into this spring, from the start of spring to the end of spring. Guys committed to it and put a lot of work in and got better, from a schematic standpoint, technique standpoint, physical, psychological, health, all of it, right? And guys really put a lot into it. I know they're putting into a lot of it right now. Wherever they're training at, they'll come back ready to go. They're highly intelligent, so like conceptually, they can understand things at a high level pretty fast. In the classroom, and then even out onto the field, to the point where and I'm really speaking for all of them, because I do believe this for all these guys are high football character, they're high intelligence, and so even if they mess something up on the field, they know it right away, which tells you they know it. They just need to bank the reps of the sensory process to it, right? And so like the example I give is us coaches, we understand the defense obviously very well, but we don't actually have to go out there and rep it. And so actually moving through it and going through the read and going through all the senses of seeing it, hearing calls, feeling certain things is completely different part of the learning process. And so they have to continue to go through that to reach mastery of their technical execution and their schematic execution. And so they're all still going through that process. And what you'd like to see come training camp is they're starting to take big strides in all those areas within every part of the defense. And so that's what I'm looking forward to is, with those rookies and really every player, is seeing who's going to take those big strides when they grow comfortable within what they have to do on the field. Yeah, so I think it's something that you need to do after every year, because the game changes, and as soon as you stop doing that, all of a sudden in 3 years you'll be pretty outdated, right? Because offenses are changing and you got to be able to keep up defensively. So I keep a running list. A lot of the other coaches keep a running list throughout the year of things that that you're going to want to change going forward, because what you ultimately want week to week is to not put in a lot of different things or not put in a lot of new concepts or new teaching, so that the players aren't bogged down mentally and they can go play fast. And so that's making your defense better, right? It's making it more adaptable yet easy to digest, and you present complex to the opponent, but for the players it's simple. And so what we did as part of our process is in the defensive staff room on the board is just the whole board is covered with things that we knew we wanted to explore this offseason to potentially change. Whether that was changing things within our defense or just exploring completely new concepts. And each coach wrote on the board things that they want to change. It might have been terminology based, it might have been a new coverage, a new way to have pressures, but whatever that was, new techniques within the scheme. And we put it on the board, we studied it, we shared that information with each other, and we ultimately collectively came to decisions on how we can best restructure the defense, whether that was how we can get to certain things, how we play certain things, how we term certain things. And so the structure doesn't necessarily change, but there are a lot of differences and tweaks that we made that I think that Zaven's referring to, that we can do things a little bit different, because we felt that was best with where the NFL is going in 2024 with offenses and what we have to be able to defend with the personnel that we have, right? Because as your personnel changes, you might have to change some stuff schematically. And so that's kind of part of our process of really collecting as much information that I'd say the first thing is being very intentional with where you want to go. And then from there, being thorough with your deep dive and really using that time in the off season to enhance your knowledge because the more knowledge you have, then you can be more detailed and selective with here's how we want to best deploy this type of defense, and here's how we can teach our players so that to them it's very simple and they can go play fast and violent. So long-winded answer there, kind of to say it's not that we're drastically different, but we definitely take deep dive every single offseason. I mean, I think it's pretty simple. It's highly competitive, and it's up for grabs for guys to go take and earn spots, which is a great problem to have, you know. So I'm excited. It's going to be really good competition. I want to see a lot of guys take strides during training camp, and I want there to be tough decisions on who's going to earn certain roles. Yeah, there's versatility within the guys that we have, without a doubt. With anytime you have guys that can play multiple spots, from covering the center to covering the guard to tackles to outside that tackle, it gives you a lot of versatility up front within a single guy being able to do a lot. So with the guys that we have, there's definitely a lot of versatility just because they're big guys that are highly athletic, and so you can ask them to do a lot of different things. No different than similar guys that we have at outside linebacker can do similar things. Guys we have at inside linebacker can do similar things. So I think when you have that versatility throughout the defense, it allows you to be very flexible within having the same group of guys on the field. Every player is different, and they'll bring different things to the table. I think the whole linebacker room honestly brings a really good skill set. Talking Max specifically, he definitely is a violent player. We talked about violence. That pops out on the tape to me, along with versatility. I'm going to keep talking about versatility. If you look at Max's tape last year, he played stacked. He rushed off the edge a little bit on third down. That fits the mold of what we're looking for. And I think, again, his football character, team first, it's through the roof. His work ethic, he shows up every day. He loves football. He definitely loves football. He shows up every morning ready to go. Why are you in my office? It's 6 a.m. I get out of here. So that's the kind of guy that he is. So excited to work with him. I think that whole linebacker room is good competition.
Is he a lot like Kaiser? I mean, do you see similarities there? And I guess what makes those two guys a really good count?
Yeah, they are. They're both violent. I would say that's one part of their game that they do share. That just comes to the top of my mind. I think they both have very natural feel, specifically in the run game. There's just something about guys that just hit the ball. Like that wasn't his fit. That wasn't where he needed to be per se. That was someone else's play. He just hits the ball. And I think both those guys do that fairly well. So those are some similarities between those two. I mean, that's why I do what that's why I wanted to coach, is because the development of the players. The coach's job is to serve the players and get them to play at their highest level. And when you have players that have that football character and that are all in and they're reciprocating that effort that you want to put into them and they're putting back into themselves, then you know that the result is going to be that much greater. And so it's a good feeling as a coach when you know that this guy's going the extra mile, that you see Starling Thomas in the offseason not skip a morning where he's not meeting extra and putting in all kinds of work. You know what Zaven and Kaiser, I walk into this facility right now and I see them working like they're working because I know the kind of football character that those guys have. And so it's almost calming for me as a coach to know, like, we're all in. Like, we got a group of guys that are all in, and I'm ready to go war with anybody like that. I'm excited. You're right, it's camp, right? That's the first thing is it's one meeting at a time, one walkthrough at a time, one practice at a time. What I want to see throughout that is us improving and executing at a high level, all 11 guys, along with playing with high motor, and when it's game time, it's playing with that violence.